Everyone, Prime here. Now today I'm going to be discussing what to make the next Batman Arkham game the best Batman Arkham game or best Batman game of all time. Because as much as I enjoy watching people play Batman Arkham Knight, because I don't really have Batman Arkham Knight, I do have Batman Arkham City. But there are a couple of videos where I saw that they mentioned why Arkham Knight was a huge disappointment or why they didn't like Batman Arkham Knight, and I watched those videos and I have to agree. The when I saw people play Batman Arkham Knight, I didn't think much of it. I didn't think much of the plot, and I do think they were a little harsh on Batman Arkham Knight just because they put a lot of emphasis on a lot of things that don't matter. Because let's face it, you play Batman games for the experience. You play Batman games for the entertainment. You don't really play it for the plot. The plot is just there. And of course you would like plot, and some people empathize plot more than gameplay, but at the end of the day, it's a video game. You play it for, the combat and the stealth, and that's what I think Batman Arkham Knight did well. The stealth, the combat, and everything. But there are a lot of flaws that I want to mention that they should fix in the sequel or in the prequel. I'm not sure if the next Batman Arkham game is going to be a sequel or a prequel. I heard it's gonna be a prequel, but I'm not sure. Anyways, so the majority of the problems I hear from Batman is really just the plot and the Batmobile. So let me break it down further. Now, about the plot. Alright, spoilers ahead. I'm gonna be spoiling the story. Alright, Jason Todd background. Now, the problem with Jason Todd is he just came out of nowhere. They should have built him up because not everyone reads comics, so not everyone's gonna know Jason Todd. I mean, they did do flashbacks in the games, but I think it would have been better if they made a game where we had Jason Todd as our sidekick, and towards like the end of the game we see Jason die, and in the next game, it's more focused around him and how it affect Batman, how Jason Todd's death actually affect Batman, because to be perfectly honest, it didn't really look like it affected Batman too much. I mean, yeah, it causes hallucination, it causes flashbacks. That's another thing I want to discuss. Now, this is something discussed by another YouTuber, so I'm not gonna take credit for this. I'm gonna leave the link to the YouTuber in the description below. But he mentioned how Batman he shouldn't have known any of this, like, cause Jason Todd, with his conversation with Joker, he shouldn't not have known it because all of it is in Batman's head. So how does he know about all the conversations Batman had with Joker and all that? That is a plot hole. There are many plot holes in the game. Alright, there's the fact that, Jason Todd could have killed Batman at any moment. He has so many opportunities to kill Batman, but he chooses not to. Now, this would have been fine if it were to show that Jason was like having regrets about killing Batman, or I think that would have been more compelling. I think they should have fixed Arkham Knight's story, because they shouldn't build him up in like the previous game, and in the next game, if he didn't want to kill Batman, make it so like there's a reason why. It's not really a plot hole that he doesn't want to kill Batman, but it really does look like he want to kill Batman. He has no regret about killing Batman, but it would have been nice if we see that Jason Todd really doesn't want to kill Batman, or just wants to torture him a little bit, or I think this would be even better. The fact that Jason Todd still feels for his old mentor, and deep down he really doesn't want to kill Batman. I think that would have been better, to be honest. Yeah, so they should just fix Jason's story. And now another thing that I really, this one's common to everyone, and even die-hard fans of Batman Arkham Knight will agree with this: the tank missions or the Batmobile. You use the Batmobile too much. Now, it's not necessarily you should. I think the way they could fix this in the new Batman Arkham game is to lessen the amount of time we have with the Batmobile, but make it interesting. Make using the Batmobile a lot more interesting, because no one likes the tank battles because it's boring. It's the same thing. No one likes it because it's the same thing. but give less of like tank battles and make them more interesting, besides just dodging attacks and then just keep attacking the tanks. Make it interesting, make it so like the tanks actually move, they don't just stay still. And this was mentioned again by another YouTuber. I'll leave the link to his description below. Watch that video, actually, it's pretty good. He described why Arkham Knight was a huge disappointment, and he actually gave really valid points. Like, he really did. Although most of the points he did give is really just plot holes, not necessarily, on the gameplay. But yeah, the tank missions, give less of that and make it more interesting, because just spamming, missiles at the tanks and all that is kind of boring, Make it so there's actually make it more interesting. Make it, the tanks move, or the tanks attack you from behind, or it's like stealth or something. Because if you think about it, the tanks just stay there. The Batmobile is the only one that moves. That's my main problem, because all you have to do is dodge and attack, and it's just really, really boring after a while. So yeah, they have to make the tank missions more interesting and give less, of the tank missions, and make the Batmobile less about fighting enemies and make it more about traveling through the city. Because it shouldn't really be that much about it's more for entertainment. Going through the city faster and yeah. In addition to this, I mentioned this on Twitter. Give other vehicles. Spend less time with the Batmobile. Give other vehicles like the Bat motorcycle or the Batwing or any of these other things you can use more of. With the Batwing, you can just travel the city. You could do You could do like air combat, even. Although I hope you don't make it like a boring thing, or give a lot of air combat. Now, one of the main problems, and I mentioned this throughout the video already, but there's so many plot holes with the game. It's just, it's not just with Batman Arkham Knight though. It's with the other games. I want it so that, why? When Jason Todd hit Batman with the gun, I was wondering, why didn't Jason Todd kill him? Maybe he wanted to let Batman live. I don't know. I do think he wanted Batman to live just because he wants him to get tortured a little bit. Although I would have, like I said in the beginning of the video, I would have preferred, him showing remorse. He really doesn't want to hurt Batman. Showing something like that. But I do want them to explain it more in the story. But yeah, one of the plot holes I see is Batman Arkham Knight shooting Batman, but then he doesn't finish the job. He doesn't even hit him in the mouth or anything. He just hits him in a place that really wouldn't hurt, and he could have killed Batman so many times, but he didn't. Now, another problem with the game is the characters. Now, all the characters, the characters are just so. I'm gonna be borrowing a lot of the ideas said in the video. I'm gonna leave in the link in the description below, but I just want to add to it. But the characters are just so lackluster, man. Nightwing just doesn't. Alright, Nightwing kind of has emotions, but it's you don't really care about any of the characters. Batman he's this depressed guy. It's alright. It's when he thought Oracle died, he cried for 2 seconds and then he basically just got over it. Just make Batman more open as a character. It could have been just due to Joker's formula, but I do want Batman to open up a little bit. Like the other Arkham games. Batman seems a lot more human, but in this game, it feels like Batman is just not human. It just feels like he's like a god, essentially. Even his combat, this was mentioned by another YouTuber, but Batman's combat, he goes flying to one enemy, to another enemy, to another enemy, and you don't really have to change that, but do try to make Batman more human. Show the Bruce Wayne side of him a little bit more. Humanize him a little bit more. This is what I like about Spider-Man more than Batman, is the fact that even though Batman doesn't have any powers, Spider-Man seems so much more relatable than Batman. He's broke. He helps with the shelter. He has emotional connections. He has every. He seems so much like a human. And it's not necessarily as much plot holes as there is in Spider-Man and Batman, just because Spider-Man is superhuman. He has powers, so it makes sense why in certain situations he doesn't die or something like that. Although there are some plot holes in Spider-Man, but that I'm not really gonna mention now. But yeah, they're trying to make Batman more human, and yeah, this one, I really, really want to see better boss battles, because Batman Arkham Knight, the boss battles were complete crap. I was really looking forward to an actual boss battle. I was really looking forward to seeing a boss battle between Arkham Knight and Batman. We didn't really get that. We just got a bunch of his goons coming and attacking him, and then Arkham Knight was trying to just find Batman, try to kill him, and it just didn't feel right, Another thing I want them to improve on, and I really want them to improve on this. Don't make every stealth mission the same. Give different kind of stealth. Because every stealth mission, it's like the same thing. It's like Garfield's, ledges, raids. And give more places where Batman hides, not these same places. All the time. Give more places for Batman to hide. Because how many times have you been on the ledge or in the graph field or whatever? Give more places for Batman to hide. And now, final thing I want to touch on is the DLC. Now, the main problem with the DLCs are they're too short. That's really the only problem with them. They're too short. You don't get as much free roam for the characters. Although I do like one thing, I like Batman's DLC better than Spider-Man's DLC. I'm gonna be comparing Spider-Man and Batman to a lot. Is the fact that you get to see more of Batman's characters. It kind of showcases the characters a little bit more. I do like that, but I do want to see more. The DLCs are kind of short, to be honest. They are a little short, to be honest. And DLCs in both Spider-Man and Batman haven't, been good. Both games need to work on the DLCs. Because it definitely feels like it's a kind of a cash grab. Just because it's like, oh, the game did well. I mean, their game did well, so people are gonna buy their DLCs anyway. So it's like, but I do want them to improve on their DLCs. Anyways, there's a lot more plot holes in Batman Arkham Knight that I just don't want to mention. The guy in the channel that I'm gonna be linking in the description, he did mention a lot of the plot holes in the games, and I'm sure there's a lot more plot holes that most of you can find. But anyways, Batman Arkham Knight is still, in my opinion, an awesome and great game. Although there are a lot of problems with it, it is still a really good game. And by far, one of the best superhero games of all time. Anyways, if you agree or disagree with my opinion, leave it in the link. Oh my god. Leave it down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.